how do you get out of this, right? So how do you get out of such an attack? The answer is quite simple, but sometimes it seems counterintuitive. Sometimes what happens is because we have all these things on our mind, we tend to try and do them more and more and more, but it doesn't help because we are trying to do more and more and more when our prefrontal lobes and our prefrontal cortex is not functioning with its full capacity, right? So this is sort of numbed, this is in the riding seat, and we're trying to do more and more and more in a state when we're not as intelligent and not thinking as clearly and not making great decisions. It's not a very useful strategy. We just get ourselves more into the mud. To get out of this loop, what we need to do is give back control to our prefrontal cortex. How do we do that? We have to soothe the primitive brain. The primitive brain is also an emotional brain, right? So it receives and responds to primitive signals. So how do you soothe the primitive brain? You soothe the primitive brain in ways that the primitive brain can understand. So when you're under the attack of ADT or this kind of stress that's been induced because of several small things and the control is now in your primitive brain, you don't try to philosophize or logic yourself out of the situation. You acknowledge the fact that you're stressed, you're in trouble, and you soothe the primitive brains. Very simple things work. Go out for a walk, relax, socialize, chat with a friend, just have a small chat and come back. The primitive brain soothes down. What happens? The control comes back to the prefrontal cortex and you can get started with your work once again. I want to talk to you very briefly about why just going out and having a chat with a good friend or someone you care about can actually soothe the primitive brain and get you out of your perceived panic attack, right? Not perceived, but real panic attack, but the threat was perceived. So let's imagine that you go out and you have a chat with a friend. Your primitive brain actually communicates with the primitive brain of your friend through what we now know as mirror neurons. And even if you don't look at mirror neurons, just your primitive brain understands that if there was this huge problem, this is my friend, she or he cares about me, he's not going to be there with a smile. So your primitive brain gets soothed. And well, it could be, now the two things that you need to be careful about. One is that it's not a friend who's working on the same project as you and therefore you both sort of got hassled for the same reason. It's not going to work then. And could it happen that the friend's primitive brain instead is going to pick up your irritation and anxiety? That's also possible, but give it a chance, yeah? Typically, I think it's easier because if your friend is maintaining her calm and she continues to maintain her calm, and she probably will because there is no real big problem, but it's just your small things that, because of which your prefrontal cortex gave up. If your friend is maintaining her calm, your primitive brain is, as you interact with her, as you share smiles, it's going to pick up the cues and soothe down, give control back to your prefrontal cortex, which can now really look at things rationally and see that there isn't really a big problem. It's just that you want to do things one at a time and then you can do them.